So here we're back in our Amud Yomi Shir. It's not really Amud Yomi. Back to our Gemara Shir. We do more or less one Amud a day, but no promises. Shabbos Kuf Tes Vav Amud Beis. We're learning the halachas of what happens if Chas V'Shalom Sefer Torah is about to be burnt on Shabbos Chalila. Let's say there's fire on Shabbos, fire broke. Do you save the Sefer Torah? Conceptually, yes. But you save it even if it involves an Isur Drabanon of taking it to a Chotzer with no proper Eruv. But through these halachos, we also learn about regular, general halachos of Sefer Torah. Yeah, this is just a jumping board to learn more about Sefer Torah. We spoke about Sefer Torah written in foreign languages, such in English. We learned about Sefer Torah that's written not with the proper ink. And now we're going to learn about what is the minimum amount of letters that consist a Sefer Torah. What's the minimum amount of letters in a Sefer Torah to make it be considered Sefer Torah that still maintains the status of a Sefer Torah? And we're going to learn about the amount of chumoshim that we have. You think there are 5 chumoshim? Well, apparently there are 7. Ooh, big news. So this year is Leilu Nishmas, my father, Menachem ben Akiva, Latzlocha of all the Jewish soldiers, and Latzlocha of the kidnapped people should come back home very, very soon. Bo minei Ravuna Bachalub Rav Nachman. Ravuna Bachalub asked Rav Nachman. We are more or less in the middle of the page, towards the end a little bit more. Sefer Torah. The question is as follows. Sefer Torah she'ein bo lelaket 85 oisiyos. A Sefer Torah that basically there is a Sefer Torah which was either one of the two happened in the Sefer Torah. You had a Sefer Torah, good, kosher, in Lashon HaKodesh, written with the best Sefer time in the Heilige Yerushalayim, all good. Sadly, one of two things happened. Either the Sefer Torah is bola or nimchak. We're going to explain more later, but generally, either the letters somehow just got erased, meaning the klaf is still in good condition. The letters, most of the letters, somehow slowly but surely, they were worn off and just erased. Yeah, they're not there, they're deleted. Or the bola means the actual klaf itself is already not, is really already like worn out, right? So then the question is as follows. Sefer Torah she'en bo lelaket 85 oisiyos. A sefer that already most of its letters are gone, except for 85. Now, normally, when you have a Sefer Torah that still has 85 letters, we're going to see soon why that number still maintains the kedusha and the status and everything of a Sefer Torah. Yeah, in other words, we're going to see all the details later, but 85 letters is the amount of letters that still maintain the kedusha and the status of a Heilige Sefer Torah, 85. The question now is what happens with the Sefer Torah? And boy, it's below the minimum. It does not have the 85 letters. Kigon Pashas Vibin Sa'aron. Oh, that's the name of the game here. The reason why 85 letters is such a choshev number over here is because, as we're going to see, the Parsha in Parsha Ba'aloischa, there are 2 pesukim that consist the Parsha of their own, and according to some, it's a separate Sefer Torah in its own right. These 2 pesukim that are, basically enclosed between 2 upside downs nun, right? Inside downs nun. These are 85 letters. They are considered a sefer on their own, and therefore, when we talk about a sefer, an entire Sefer Torah from Bereshit till Leina Kol Yisrael, if it has 85 letters, it still has the kedusha because it's equivalent to the minimal Sefer Torah within the Sefer Torah. It's equivalent to 1 chumash of the 7 chumashim, as we'll see later. Okay. Yeah. So basically, the question is: do we save it or don't we save it? Matzilin oisem mipnei adleka or ein matzilin? Do we save it from the fire on Shabbos in the expense of what? Of a chilul Shabbos even, or don't we? That's a question. Amarle. So now the response was: wait a second. V'tibaylach pashas v'bin sa'oroin gufa. Why don't you ask a regular? Yeah, if you say that Parshas Vibin Sa'aron by itself has that's it. That's the amount that contains kedusha. the parsha itself of Ibn Saorin. Why did it ask a question? What happens if Parshas Ibn Saorin is written? You have that parsha alone. It has a kedusha of one of the Sefer Torah, right? And if you have that parsha missing one letter, you should ask the question: why ask me about from Bereshit till V'chol Israel? Yeah, with different letters scattered, because it's like Ibn Saorin. Why don't you ask me clearly what's going to be the halacha if you have just Ibn Saorin? It has a kedusha of a Sefer Torah of that one chumash, and it's missing one letter. Do you or don't you save it? Answers the Gemara. The question is not the question. The answer is better than the question. When you get the answer, you'll see why we're asking that after that question. Answers the Gemara. Heicha dechosar parshas v'ibin soya lokami ba'ili. When parshas v'ibin soya is written and it's missing one letter, there is no question that you have to save it. Why? The kevadis bazkorois. Aha. Because again, as we said yesterday regarding the Megillah versus Sefer Torah, because Hazkorois, the name of Hashem is mentioned there. Kuma. What does it say there? Kuma Hashem. Hashem is the name of Hashem. Yeah. Because the Hazkorois is mentioned in those words. Yeah. In that parsha, even if it's missing one letter, the name of Hashem, then of course, even if it's missing and you don't have 85 letters, you have 84 matzilin. Because again, the name of Hashem, as we said, the name of Hashem is there, so you save it. Yeah, by the way, don't get confused with the previous sugya. When we said that you don't save the brachos and the kmeyos, even though they contain the name of Hashem, because then we're not so happy that name was written to begin with. It wasn't meant to. Before the Siddur was established, you're not meant to write Baruch Atah Hashem Pokeach Ivrim Nosech V'Bina, right? The wrong order. Because the name of Hashem wasn't supposed to be written, so don't be through me and tell me it's the name of Hashem. We're not supposed to write it. Here, I was supposed to write the name of Hashem, so even if it doesn't have the status of a Sefer Torah, it's the name of Hashem, written where and when it's meant to be written, so you definitely save it from the fire and take it to the An Me'ur of Chotzer. So what is the question? Now we are stressing again. Kikami ba'ili. My question is, says Rav Huna Bar Chaluv, Sefer Torah she'ein boy lelaket. As I explained before, it's a Sefer Torah that doesn't have 85 letters to collect. In other words, as Rashi says, which means ubeoisoi likut atzmoi leka azkorois. Let's say you have a Sefer Torah with a word here and a letter there. We're going also to discuss later words versus letters. But generally speaking, let's say you have a lot of letters, yeah? Not too many letters, actually. Out of all the letters of the Sefer Torah, you have 85 minus 1, you have 84 that stayed. They don't contain the name of Hashem. And that is a question, why? Mitzad, the status of what's called Sefer Torah, go down, 85. You're in an overdraft. You have less than 85, right? Then mitzad the amount of letters, you don't have the amount of letters that it lost the status of Sefer Torah. You don't have enough letters to still maintain the status of Sefer Torah. What about as chorus? Well, I'm asking you in case where there are no as chorus. You have a pei over here, and a nun over here, and a mem over here, and a tzadi over here. You don't have the name of Hashem any, or maybe some letters. We're going to discuss later if we're talking about letters that are separate or words. That will be another discussion. Yeah, let's say the word vayomer, and you have the word sfardea, and the word tanu. You have different words, but not the words of Hashem, not the name of Hashem. So mitzad the name of Hashem, no. Mitzad the fact that you have less than mitzad the amount of letters, no. So do you still save it or don't you save it? That's a question. Yeah.
The threshold is 85 letters.
Yes.
You need at least 85 letters.
Yes.
If those 85 letters, like Vayim, so.
Before we continue, let me answer your question. Let's say you have, according to what we just said, let's say the Sefer Torah maintained less than 85 letters, only 84. But the name of Hashem is one of the survivors, then of course you save it. Yeah, that's clear. Just something very interesting, because think about it, what's 85? Peh, mouth. Nice. And I had another word about it, I forgot. Yeah, but peh, the mouth, you still have the peh. Sefer Torah is talking to us, the name of the mouth of Hashem. Omar le ein metzilin. No, the answer that Rav Nachman gave him was, no, you don't save it. Well, makes sense. The name of Hashem you don't have. Status of a Sefer Torah you don't have, so sorry, you don't save it. Eseve. Now we're coming with a challenge on that from a brayso. Eseve. Targum shekosvoi mikra. Let's say you have a targum. Soon we're going to see what that means. Targum. Let's say there are words in the Torah that are written targum. Where are they? The Gemara is going to say soon. You want to guess? Targum is Aramaic. You have an Aramaic word in the Torah, and you distorted it and you wrote it in Lashon HaKodesh. Yeah, there are words in the Torah written in Aramaic. Yes. Umikra shekosvoi targum. You took some words in the Torah, well, 95% of the words or more are Lashon HaKodesh, and you wrote it Betargum, right? Okay. And also in the Novi, you have that sometimes. We're going to discuss it later. The Ksav Ivris. Ksav Ivris, here Rashi explains what Ksav Ivris is. It was mentioned before. Look at Rashi Ksav Ivris. Oisios Gdoilosen. These are the bigger letters, not like the Stam. The Ein Domes Ksav Ashuris. They're not similar to the Ksav Ashuris, which should Sefer Torah should be written in. It's written Meloshan HaKodesh, but not with kosher stam, not with a kosher font, not with a lachic font. So Bekitzer, all these Sefer Torah, one second, I'll be with you in a second. All these Sefer Torah are written not the right way, but the content is right. Yeah. Then Matzilin B'pnei Dleika, you do save them from the Dleika. Okay. Then Targum shebe'Ezra v'shebedaniel. Needless to say, Targum in Ezra and Daniel, lots of parts there are Targum. So it's supposed to be written in Targum. It's not a step down. It's supposed to be written there. Then you save them from the Dleika. Yes?
I just want to make sure I understood correctly. This is
Yeah.
my understanding. There's nothing in the Sefer Torah, in the 5 books, that are written in Aramaic. Everything is.
Yes, there is.
Mhm.
You're in for a surprise. You are very ready for the next step of the Gemara. I'm glad you're asking. V'shebatoiro. Frag the Gemara, your question. Targum shebatoiro, my new. Where in the Torah itself do you have Targum written? And says the Gemara, Yegarsa Adusa. Yegarsa Adusa, when Lavan and Yaakov, when they parted, they made some kind of covenant of, I won't come to you, don't touch me, I won't touch you. And they took stones, right? Him and his children, after Yaakov ran away, they made this like a cold peace kind of, truce, don't come to us, we won't come to you. I wish we had that today, right? So then Yaakov called the place Gal Eid. Gal, it's a pile of stones, which is an aid, a witness. And Lavan called it Yegar Sahadusa, same thing. Yegar is a pile, Sahadusa, we all know, is an aid. So you see that it's written there. So if you wrote Yegar Sahadusa in Loshan HaKodesh, yeah, and you're still supposed to save it, you're supposed to be matzilit from the dleika. The afal, here comes the punchline. The afal gav deles b'shonim chamesh oisiois. Oh, even if it contains less than 85 oisiois, you still save it. That's interesting, right? And that's against what we said. No, Aramaic is a different story. There are really 2 pieces of information here. One of them tells you that Aramaic really is holy enough that if you wrote it in Aramaic, you do save it. Well, could be it follows who? Rav Chizda. Could be it follows Ravuna, according to Mando Omer, do you allowed to, right? Somebody can find it. Everybody can find their place here. But the Maisa, the punchline, which we care about, is that even though it has less than 85 letters, Hebrew, Targum, whatever, you have less than 85 letters and you still save it. That's exactly just against what Rav Nachman told him. Rav Nachman says you don't save a Sefer Torah that doesn't have 85. Answers the Gemara, no. Kitanya hi lehashlim. First wide line. We're in the first wide line, towards the bottom of the page. Kitanya lehashlim. Look at Rashi. Im hoyo b'kedei lelaket. Let's say you had enough to be melaket 85. V'targum zu mashlimoy mitztarif u'metzilin b'shviloi. Meaning, the 2 parts of the brayso are actually connected. You had, let's say, 85. No, you had 80 letters that are written normally, and 5 of those letters are the Targum. In other words, those 85, right, consist of regular good Lashon HaKodesh, and some of it are written in the Targum that's not supposed to be the written. Instead, Bereshis Bara Elokim, you wrote the Aramaic, yeah? So that's what we're telling us. Afal gav deles b'shmonim v'chamesh means to say, even though the original, regular, from good Torah text is less than 85, let's say it's a 70, and 15 letters are Targum, they join forces together to create that desired minimum of 85. But you still do need 85, meaning it's not two pieces not connected. The Bryson now makes much more sense, actually. In other words, the Targum is so choshuv, even though it's meant to be in Lashon HaKodesh. You wrote the Targum, even if this Targum is what holds the bare minimum together, to be mashlim to the Lashon HaKodesh, it's still good enough. I wonder if the whole thing is Targum, it's the same. I don't know. It says Lahashlim. Then I don't know. Malamaisa, those 85 can contain some Lashon HaKodesh and some Targum. Malamaisa, at the end of the day, 85 is the minimum, and less than that, you don't save the Sefer Torah unless you have Shem Hashem. Are we good? We're okay. Ibai Lehu, a lot of surprises today. You good? Yeah? Don't. Ibai Lehu. Oh, here comes what I told you before. Comes another question. So we know that the bare minimum to save a Sefer Torah, in order to be saved, to contain, maintain the Kedusha of Sefer Torah, it has to have 85 letters. Okay. Who are all survivors. Originally, by the way, we're talking about a Sefer that was a good Sefer Torah. To maintain the old Kedusha, it has to still retain 85. But we're not saying that if you wrote 85, there's Kedusha of a Sefer. It's not. Right? Yes. If a Sefer started writing a Sefer Torah, and very quickly got to 85, we're not saying that has Kedusha. We're talking about maintaining the old glory. You had the full Sefer Torah, and then some was erased, and more was erased, and more was erased, then 85 is the minimum. That's the Lashon of the Gemara. Nimchak bola. Iboilu comes a question. These 85 letters, mechunosois or mefuzorois, do they have to be mechunosois? Do they have to be all together? Let's assume now mechunosois means do they have to be all in one parsha? Yeah, mechunosois as let's say all in one place, like vibin soroin. Or even if they're scattered all over, do we still say that they maintain the Kedusha? That's the question. Again, it's not so clear. Are we talking about words scattered or letters that are scattered? We're half words. We're not discussing it yet. But the question in general, do you have 85 letters, all one coherent, concentrated text? Only then you save it, because the survivors they make sense as a unit of their own, the 85 letters, or maybe even not that, maybe even less than that. You have 85, one for V'zayis Bracha, one for Bereshis, one for Tav, one from. Do you still say that they maintain the Sefer Torah? Rav Huna Omar, same people as yesterday, they're coming back. Rav Huna Omar mechunosois. Rav Huna again is saying more lechumra, meaning more chumra mechunosois. He's less into saving the Sefer Torah. Rav Huna says only if they're mechunosois, if they're all together. Otherwise, you don't, right? And Rav Chizda Omar afilu mefuzois. Rav Chizda, just like yesterday with the English Sefer Torah, Rav Chizda here too, he's saying even mefuzois, even if those words or letters are scattered all over, they're not they're not creating one coherent text, you still save the Sefer Torah. Okay, Meisivi, let's ask a question on one of those opinions. Let's see the Brisa. Says the Brisa, Sefer Torah shebolo, a Sefer Torah that is worn out, the actual klaf has an issue, not just the letters. Im yesh bo lelaket shmoini v'chamesh. Oh, I'm reading too fast. Im yesh bo lelaket. What does lelaket mean? Anybody help me? I don't know Hebrew so well. What's lelaket? Lelaket?
To lick?
To what?
To lick?
Together, collect, glean. That's lelaket. Yeah? So lelaket means that it's scattered. There have to be melaket, one thing. No, melaket means they're scattered. So let's read again. Sefer Torah shebolo. Im yesh bo lelaket shmon v'chamesh oisiyos, ki goin pashas vibin sa'aroin, metzilin. Similar, equivalent to pashas vibin sa'aroin, then you save it. V'imlav ein metzilin. Tiyufta de Rav Huna. It's against Rav Huna. Even though we compared it to vibin sa'aroin, but it's not vibin sa'aroin because it's lelaket. Lelaket means that they're scattered all over the place. Yeah, but if you really work hard and you pointed to one letter here, one there, one here, one there, you gather 85, you add it up to 85, then you save it. But you have to lock it. But if you tell me they have to be all in one place, right, as Rav Huna was saying, then it's wrong. So it's a kifta de Rav Huna, right? Clear. And says the Gemara, Tirgum of Chisda b'lid Ravuna. Oh, it's one of those many, many moments. One Amoira defends his opponent, right? Because we're looking for the emes. We had it recently with the Bayan Rove. Tirgum of Chisda b'lid Ravuna. Rav Chisda is defending his own opponent Ravuna. Betevois. Let's see Rashi. Now we're going to get the whole story. Bezos Hashem. Look at Rashi Betevis. It's the third Rashi from the bottom of the page. Betevis. Hadektani lelaket demashme mefuzorois. When we said lelaket, which sounds like that even if they're scattered all over, you still save the sefer, right? That means lo lelaket ois ve'ois levad. Does not mean to glean and collect one letter from here, one from Bereshis, one from Vayikra, one from there. No. Ela lelaket teva shlema, teva kan ve'teva kan ate oisi ois, which means even when we said that you can glean, you can collect from different places, we meant you have words, full coherent words, vayomer, sfardea, paroi, nida, whatever, tuma, whatever that is, the words, right? That if you collect those up until 85 letters, but those letters have to be contained in words that are full, that's what the Brisa says. Why isn't this against Rav Chisda, against Ravuna? Continues Rashi, B'chipal Ginan, when my colleague and I argued, the ois very good, which means I is being very nice to Ravuna. I, Rav Chisda, I thought even more than that even if you have letters that are separate, right, you may collect them, even letters are separate. And Rav Huna said no. Rav Huna said you don't collect letters that are separate. But we all agreed that if you have words that are separate, that are scattered, but each word is a word of its own, then everyone agrees that you collect it, right? It's not a tmiyah, but there's not a time against Rav Chisda though. Rav Chisda can basically, let's summarize. According to Rav Chisda, whether you have separate letters, one here, one there, all scattered all over, all spruced here and there, right? Yeah, peppered here and there. According to Rav Chisda, you save it. Kol sheken if you have a word here, a word there. According to Rav Huna, when you have separate letters, a letter here, a mem here, a samach here, tzadi soifis here, then you don't save it. But if you have a word here and a word there, you do save. Now, the Brisa can be friendly with everyone. The Brisa has a common denominator. Lelaket means you collect words, a word here, a word there. So now it's good definitely can also be good with Rav Huna. Very good. Now, Tonu Rabbanon. Here we come to very interesting. It's half I got it idea. I really wanted to ask you guys to bring chumashim. Maybe I have a chumash here. You have. That's chumash even with English, right? No, right? Yeah. Whoever can grab. No, I have in the computer. I'm too much into the technologia. But basically, whoever can look up the chumash, it's kedai maybe. But let me have a look with you at chumash bamidbar. Yeah. Even if you don't have the chumash, it's fine. When we open the chamishi of Parashat Ba'aloischa. So we all know the Chumash Bamidbar. I'm giving introduction to the following Gemara. We all know the Chumash Bamidbar starts off with a very, very detailed description of how Bnei Israel were organized, how they organized their camping and their traveling around the Mishkan, right? Each, 3 Shvatim had one degel, right? Yehuda, each one had their own corner. And then there's also Pashas Nasoy is all different business. Pashas Ba'aloischa. And now we're talking about even before Chamishi, you have before that. I'll skip that for now. Chamishi, yeah, Pasuk Yud Aleph, yeah, the Chamishi of the Parsha. Now the Torah for the first time is telling me, they started traveling. Up until now, they got the instructions. Now the Torah is describing the real occurrence, a simple dvarim, what actually happened in the second year, in the second month, which is ER, in the 20th of the ER. Now La Mishkan, they started traveling, and it's telling you, so it was. The first ones were Bnei Yehuda, V'chule gives you the whole description. Moshe Rabbeinu was begging Yisro to stay with them. V'chule. Then it says in Pasuk Lamed Gimel, V'yisu me'ar Hashem. That's important to know. They traveled away from Har Sinai. That was the first not the very first. The first one after Matan Torah, I mean, Veisu Mahar Hashem, very nice. That's Rosh Hashanah. The Oroin was the one that guided the way, Nosel Lifneihem, and then comes the famous upside down nun, the upside down nun, Ve'ibin Soroin. Then we've been saw in the two pesukim, Moshe kum Hashem v'futz oivecha. Yeah, Moshe told the Oroin. Yeah, when the Aaron traveled, Moshe said one thing. Venuchoi, when the Aaron was resting, then Moshe told him something else. The conversation between the Aaron and Moshe, and then afterwards it says in Perek Yud Aleph, they started complaining. Yeah, they complained about the food, the seder, or the katzadalkom. They felt it was too much of a way. Yeah, now okay. With that in mind, let's learn the Gemara. Let's now learn the piece of Gemara, the Baruch Hashem we have over here. Says the Gemara. Tonu Rabbanon, Vayibin Tza'oroin, Vayomer Moshe. Okay, these are the two psukim. There in Baal Oischa. Parshazu Osala Kadosh Baruch Hu Simonius Melamala Velamata. Right at the beginning and the end of, right before and after those two psukim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu made like Simonius, like he earmarked it. He marked it, right? He marked it with the upside down nun. Why? Loimar, to tell you, she'ein ze mekoimo, to tell you that this is not the proper place, meaning this is not where this parsha chronologically, it's not where this parsha belongs. Why? Because Rashi says this parsha is telling me what Moshe Rabbeinu did when the Oren stopped and the Oren started. So this is really part of the etiquette of the rules of what's supposed to happen when they travel, right? This belongs to the beginning of the Chumash. This belongs to Bamidbar, right? Because there it says, they travel and then they do, and then what's supposed to be doing. So that's where really it belongs. And that's why this parsha is like in parentheses to let you know this is not the right place. Obviously, you're going to ask if it's not the right place, so why was it written there? The Gemara will explain it soon, right? There's also a very nice marshal I'll share with you soon. Now, Rebbe argues and says, no, Lo min Hashem who's there. That's not the reason. No, that's not the reason why we have those upside down nuns. Ella, rather, there's another reason. Really, that is the right place. Why is it the right place? Because, Rashi explains later, because really, this tells you what actually happened as they traveled. And as I told you in the introduction, right, the psukim preceding this parshas we've been so on tell us what actually they did. That they actually did go. Wow, it really happened. It's not telling you the instructions. It's telling you that they really traveled. And when they traveled, it's telling you a story. Moshe said this to the Aaron, and Moshe said that to the Aaron. So it does fit there. It does belong there. So why does it have those kivyochol funny signs on both sides? To tell you, to give you, like a special frame, passepartout, as a frame for those two psukim, to tell you that it's a choshuv b'fnei atzmoi. It's a separate sefer. Really, there are 7 Sefer Torah, and Chumash Bamidbar is divided to 3, and that's one of the Sforim. Now, before we continue, I want to tell you a very nice Marshal. The Marshal says, why is it upside down nun? So first of all, he says, according to what we're going to see later, this was the pull on. That I'll say later. I'll say the first part, because it's a choshev Sefer Torah b'fnei atzmoi. Yeah, you think, it's a small Sefer Torah, 2 psukim Sefer Torah. Says no. You should know that nun on both sides come to tell you, and it's a nun hafucha to tell you will never, even one Sefer Torah that consists of 2 psukim, you'll never get the depth of the entire Sefer Torah. Meaning, there are nun shari bina. And even Moshe Rabbeinu, definitely the greatest of them all, even he only got Mem Tes Sharim. It says it a few places, it brings down from the dome. Moshe Rabbeinu did not get the entire Torah, because some of it belongs to Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu got 49 out of 50. So you look at the Sefer Torah, don't look at it with, don't look down at it. Even that one Sefer Torah, let alone the entire Torah, you'll never get the Nun. That's why the Nun is upside down. The Nun Sha'orim, you won't get there. Don't be frustrated if you don't get all the way deep to number 50, because even Moshe just got to 49. That's one thing. Why the 7 Sefer Torah? Because Hashem created the world in 7 days. Shabbos was also a creation of Menucha, and it says, as we're going to see now, Chotzva Mudei Shiva. The Torah is the one that was Chotzev, the one that carved out and created the world. That's why we have 7 days and 7 Chumoshim. Each one connected one of the days, because Hashem looked at the Torah and created the world in 7 days. Let's see. Keman az lahod Omer B'Shmuel v'Nachman Omer B'Yonasan. According to which opinion, either Tanakama or Rebbe, who is the one that endorses the following opinion of Rabbi Yonasan? It says in Mishlei, as I just told you, Chotzva Amudeo Shiv'o. It talks about the Torah that Chotzva, it carved out, it fashioned, it created 7 pillars of the world. Elu Shiva Sifrei Torah. They're really Shiva Sefer Torah. Why is this Chumash? Why is it so choshev to be called the Sefer Torah by itself? I've seen so many perushim. I don't remember any one of them right now to give you one coherent pshat. I don't want to say some shtriot, but apparently there are 7 Sefer Torah according to this opinion. Very good. Now, come on, Kerebi. Obviously, that follows the opinion of Rebbe. Rebbe is the one who said that the reason why it's in parentheses is just to let you know it's the right place. All is in place. All is good. Just to let you know it's a separate sefer. It's a separate sefer. Very good. Now, Man Tana de Polygal de Rebbe, who is the Tanakama who disagrees with Rebbe and does not believe that it's there as a separate sefer. So why is it like a bit separate? Just to let you know that this is not the right place. Whatever that means, we're going to see. That's Reb Shimon Gamliel, who the Tanya. Reb Shimon Gamliel Oimer. Asida parsha zu sheteoker mikan v'tekosa bimkoima. Wow. Really, this parsha does not belong here. It should be at the beginning of the Chumash when it's telling you what's supposed to happen. The Moshe Rabbeinu, part of the etiquette, is supposed to to talk to the Oroin. Now, this parsha in future, when Mashiach comes, la'osid lovoi, the Chumash will change. Would you believe it? And really, this parsha will be removed from its unnatural place and go back to the original place. What's going to happen when Mashiach comes? There won't be Yetzer Hara Botel, meaning the reason why. Well, I'll explain everything soon. V'lama kos v'kan. If this is not the place, why did Hashem tell Moshe to write it here with the parentheses? To write it in the right place. Zog the Gemara, kedelafsik ben peronus rishon and peronus shniya. That's the idea. Because there were 2 puroniyos as they left Har Sinai. There were 2 disasters that were going on, and we don't want to chronologically. There were 2 disasters, one after the other, and it's not a healthy, good thing in today's world. Before Mashiach came, if we had the Chumash with 2 pieces of Yetzer Hara together, that's an atom bomb. It's not good to have 2 puroniyos together. Sama they'll be mashpia l'rona Yetzer Hara. So Hashem said, as long as the Torah is given to us in this world, we have to separate the 2 Yetzer Haras, the 2 Puroniyos, the 2 adversities, with the words in the middle of love of Hashem. That love story between Moshe and Hashem, those 2 pesukim have to stop between the 2 Puroniyos, because 2 Puroniyos together are too much to take. What are those 2 Puroniyos? Shnia. Puronus shnia mai. The Gemara starts the wrong way around. What's the second puronus mai? V'yam kemisanim. I told you which pasuk is there. You can look at the Chumash. Which pasuk is there right after those 2 parshas? It's a pasuk of what? It says v'yam kemisanim. They started complaining. Hashem. And what happened? There was fire. They're complaining to Hashem, and fire came. That's not nice. What is the puronus? Before that, what is the Puronus Rishoino? Puronus Rishoino, Vayisu Me'ar Hashem. Vayisu Me'ar Hashem, they left the Har Hashem. Once, the Machlokes Rashi says, Vayisu Me'ar Hashem, the more famous pshat is Tosfos. Look at Tosfos. Pirsh Bakutas, Shmazis Chiluli Shel Bosor. That already once they left Har Sinai, they started asking for Bosor. Like you said, Kedomo b'Medrash, Veisu Shanosu Har Sinai Derech Shlosh Yosomim, Ketina Kretzim Beis HaSefer, Sheberech Lo V'Oy Lechlo. Have you ever seen Cheder children at the end of the school day? They all go very slowly, respectfully, right? They all run away from Cheder, as you know, as if they are a missile. Excuse the example, not so nice nowadays, yeah? So, Etinok Borach Beis HaSefer. In other words, Bnei Yisrael, they left Har Sinai too eagerly. They're too eager, too quick, and too enthusiastic to leave the frum place of Har Sinai, and that itself is a Puronus. I'm not sure what they were supposed to be doing, but Lamaisa, how fast, slow they were supposed to be going, but somehow they left Har Sinai not in a way that was slow enough, respectful enough. They were too quick to leave Har Sinai, one way or the other. And that's a Puronus. And then they started complaining. Of course they did. They start complaining about the meat. Obviously, once you leave Torah, you want shtriyot. So in order to stop between these two paranios, and we shouldn't learn from them in today's world, we stop and we say, no, there was something else happening in the middle. Okay, Adkan about and we all know why this appears over here, obviously, because this, according to Manda Omar, that this is a separate chumash, right? Like Rabbi Yonason, Mimela, because that has the status of Sefer Torah and it contains 85 letters. So to any Sefer Torah that had all the letters and it slowly disappeared and it stands by the minimum of 85, maintains the status of Sefer Torah. Very nice. The Omar Rav sorry, we didn't finish yet. Sorry. V'Omar B'chama Bar Chanina shesaru me'achre Hashem v'yisu me'ar Hashem. They deviated from the ways of Hashem. Deichan mekoima. So where is the right place? Where is the good place? Lechatchila that this parsha should be written. This parsha was imported here to stop between the paranios. Where is the natural place of the parsha? Amar Ravashi Bedgolim. Bedgolim, as I told you, the beginning of Bamidbar, when it says very nicely exactly how each shevet is the golim, the flags, right? Each three shvatim, even one shevet according to some golim, right? So that part of the parsha of Bamidbar that tells you where each one was standing, that's where this parsha should have been written, because Moshe Rabbeinu saying this and saying that was part of the rules of the journey. We cut it, cut and paste. HaKadosh Baruch Hu cut it and pasted it between the paranios to, kind of buffer between the paranios. Now comes another question. I don't know how much we'll get to say today, but let's start the question. Iboilu. Now comes a new question. Hagilyonin shel Sefer Torah. Hagilyonin says Rashi, klafim chalokim, which means we're not talking here about klaf that the sofer buys before he starts writing the Sefer Torah. We're talking about the Sefer Torah's the blank spaces of the Sefer Torah. There's a Sefer Torah. There is a part above, below, right? Between the parshios, true? All the blank spaces. Sefer Torah is not written all. It's not all filled with text. Now you have a Gilyonim Shel Sefer Torah. I will read Rashi soon, but first to the question: Matzila notzim pnei adleika or ein matzila notzim pnei adleika? Yeah, let's say, for example, that there was a Sefer Torah that was completely erased. So now there was the Sefer Torah is erased. If there are no 85 letters, so there's nothing. Not so clear. Why? Because we're going to explain that soon. But the point is, the Gilyonim may have kedusha of their own, because you didn't cut out the blank spaces, and the Gilyonim, the blank space above, below, in between, is there. Maybe that still maintains the kedusha. Look at Rashi. Hagilyonim klafim chalokim. The kasal kadai techashta. The moment we think the bechol tzdodim shu chalokim kamibayle, any way, shape, or form of having chalak, having empty klaf, is a question. Kigon chalak shelamala v'shelamata v'shenim chaksov v'nasa cholok. Yeah, the chalak above and below, or even im chaksov v'nasa cholok. Let's say, imagine a Sefer Torah that's erased, but this is now chalak. It's smooth. It's wordless. No text there, but it still maintains the kedusha of the Sefer Torah because of the mere paper. That seems to be not so much in line with the 85 letters we spoke about before, and the Gemara is going to deal with it soon. Okay, so now let's see. We don't have time. Okay, so we're going to start tomorrow. We will start Be'ezus Hashem from the Gilyonim Shel Sefer Torah. Yeah, we'll get a clear picture of the clear parts of the Sefer Torah, and hopefully we'll all be living by the Torah. Everyone should come to it. Everyone YouTube is welcome. Everyone in Torah Anytime, the Tzaddikim in America, thank you very much for uploading, for maintaining the shiurim. Shkoyach, thank you very much. Yeah.